I really, really liked Sly. Great insights into the man. I think it was more the emotional journey of him, which I really, really liked. They didn't go too much into specifics on certain things. A couple of things that did sort of like weigh me down a little bit into loving, like absolutely fucking loving this movie. And was basically the runtime. Like it was way too brief.
96 minutes, man.
Like this man has a career that is spanning like 50 years.
40 years, 50 years.
Yeah. So to have a 96-minute documentary sort of detailing that it wasn't even, I think, touching the surface of the shit that he's been through. And I know that we can go back and watch the making ofs on certain things and kind of get those insights. Yeah, it's not the same. And also I wanted to hear it in hindsight. What does he think about it now? Was it all worth it? Because the shit that he put himself through was trauma.
Yeah.
It was all trauma that's displayed on screen. He's pushing himself that hard because of the shit that he's been through. And they detail that brilliantly. That relationship with his father, which sits at the crux of the fucking movie, which was fucking heartbreaking. I just didn't expect that at all. That to me, it was disgusting on a level that I understood why Sly pushed himself as hard as he did.
Yeah.
But it's almost that trauma, which is the gift and the curse, that built up. Like he's got bulletproof fucking skin. He even says it himself. I have this thing that makes me impervious to people's judgment. And it's that thing that also makes him win.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's why he'll
the man
always
himself, like the way that this shines a light on him and his fucking mental fortitude and ability to just keep fucking pushing was amazing.
Yeah.
But too brief.
I wish we got the Arnie style documentary. So the Arnie one's mad because like that first episode, and it's like an hour and 5 minutes, is just on the bodybuilding.
Yeah, I went back and watched it.
Yeah, and then the next episode is just on Arnie taking over Hollywood. And then the next episode, the last episode, is him and the politics in that. It's beautiful. Yeah. I would have loved to have seen a whole episode just on Sly's relationship with his family. More stuff from what's his face? From Frank. You don't ever hear from Frank. Like Frank's in the movies all over. Like you see him in all of those Rocky movies as Frank. Frank's in there. What's his face? And just to hear more stories about his mom and all that sort of stuff and what happened there, and like it was just weird. Like she just packed up and left. Like she was out, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Frank, and you take what's his face?
That's fucking
Sly.
wild.
Like that. That is wild.
That's the two mothers arguing about the kid and saying that that's my baby. Yeah. And then they cut him. They say, well, we'll just cut the baby in half. Yeah. That's exactly what these guys did.
Yeah.
It's amazing that Frank and Sly still have a relationship.
Yeah. Well, they were saying that he would go back to Philly for the summer and stuff like that. So they would spend time then in that 3 months. They would spend time together and then just be separate. And one seemed like he was growing up with like like getting his gift nurtured and all that sort of stuff. Because Frank was like an actual singer and everything. Knows how to put music together. He's great. Yeah. But Stallone was just getting browbeat by his fucking father just for 6 months of the fucking year, man.
That was wild.
For no reason. Zero encouragement.
Yep.
He always wanted to be better than his son.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking disgusting.
That is crazy. When when a father tries to live through his son and then realizes that he can't, he never had that shot that his son's like getting and then like tries to compete with him.
I mean, the competition is wild there. Like for me, I never understand the competition between father and son.
No.
Wild.
That is a real thing, though.
Mm.
That competition, but it's usually the son that is competing with the father.
Yeah.
That's usually the way that it goes, but that's also because the son's looking to basically say, hey, I'm here, I'm growing up, I can be my own person, as opposed to you don't tell me what to do anymore.
Yeah.
But this was in reverse.
Yeah. Sly had grown and he hadn't. Sly grew as a person and he didn't. He stayed that same mean old fucker.
Yeah. I 100% guarantee there is some resentment from the father that Sly's got his youth, that Sly's actually working on his dreams, that he's actually making that shit happen. And like, I'm pretty sure he thinks that it's all gifted to him.
Yeah.
That he's not looking at the effort that this guy actually put in. And I'm glad Frank's actually there going, he fucking did the work.
Yeah.
You don't get to come in and ride his coattails and like put up your script for fucking Frankie or whatever it was.
It was Sonny.
Yeah. And that's why you live in obscurity.
But yeah, man, I could have gone like that first hour should have been just about him and his family. The second hour should have been Sly, the movie star. Like I wanted to see more of that. Like and him talk more about not just Rocky and Rambo and Expendables, but like all the other stuff. Like Sly is an unbelievable he's an actual filmmaker.
He really is. Does
Like
it all.
he does it all. He's the only person who can claim that. I'm top to bottom, that's me. I'm on that screen, I wrote that script, and I directed that film. That's me getting punched in the face and then directing myself.
Yeah.
Like
And learning through the whole thing.
And you see it. You can see the evolution of Sly. If you watch Expendables and you go back and you watch Rocky 2, the style is completely different now.
Yeah.
Like he got it. He understands it. He knows how to tell a story and he knows how to put what he's thinking on screen. He's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's why I wish Sly would sort of take a step back from acting and just direct movies now.
Yeah.
Like
I wish he did.
He's at that fucking that Walter Hill sort of age where he could like just pump out the maddest movies.
Yeah. And like the great thing about Sly is that he puts in so much heart into the films.
Yeah.
What I loved was like just his unabashed sort of views on how we depict heroes, which is very interesting. Why am I seeing my heroes die? Why was the original ending for Rambo or for First Blood, that he would die?
Yeah.
It's like the message to all these men that fought for us came back, and then what? Like that's your ending. I was glad that he was like, "Fuck you, I'm out."
I'm not doing this. You breach the contract. I don't care. Beautiful. Just Sly though, man. Stallone. He's the best.
I would have loved to have gotten more into the rights for Rocky. Needed a lot more of that. I love that they detailed the failures from Fist to Oscar to Stopping My Mom Will Shoot and the bullshit behind that. The rivalry between Arnie and Sly. But yeah, I mean, it was just way too brief. And I know that he has the reality show on Paramount, and that was probably something that also played a key factor into how much time he could give this doco. But I really wish they dug deep, because there's a lot of trauma that guy is still working through, and I could see that through the movie. And I felt really, really sad for him. But if you flipped it to the Arnie one, right? Arnie at this point, in hindsight, is basically just like 100% honest with you. I'm not fucking around anymore. I'm living for me. I'm going to say it how I see it. And fuck them. Which is like his own words.
Yeah.
Fuck them. But I wish we kind of, maybe in the next 10 years, we'll get the definitive Sly story where it's broken down. I would like 50 years, right?
Yeah.
I would like to see like a good 4-5 episode little thing that sort of details it, instead of us having to go back and look at all the making ofs to kind of get the story behind the scenes.
My God, they briefly touch on the whole Sage Stallone thing, and he never ever spoke about it.
Yeah.
And you can see it. You can see it in that man, that it still eats at him.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Even
mean, you go, dog.
that whole scene at the end of Creed 2 is him. That's Stallone. Stallone more than likely wrote that scene.
Yeah.
It's the
The
best scene
ending
in
that
the
he never
movie.
had.
Yeah.
I think that's why he prefaces that bit with the things that I can't do in my life, I have to do it theatrically. I have to do it on film. And like that whole part, like I understood that. I would never be able to speak about it. Not publicly ever. You know what I mean? That's trauma that you never ever want to sort of open up. But like I'm pretty sure there's things that he's done to focus on to get past it.
Yeah.
Not that he could ever get past it, but to sort of work with it in his life. The time that it happened, he was at the premiere or an appearance for something else. That's what went down with that. And he said,
bullet in the head.
I don't know if it was Bullet in the Head or Expendables 2 or 3 or something like that. But it happened. He was at a convention and he went on working. He went on promoting the film. It's like,
You just buried it.
yeah.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened. But I mean, like, how could you showcase that in any light?
That's Arnie did that. Remember when his father died? What can I do? My father's dead. I have to go to this competition and I have to win, and that's all that matters. Like, I'll deal with it later. Like, fucking wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like both of these O's both had issues with their fathers.
Yeah.
And it was the catalyst for this massive growth and this massive explosion into pursuing their dreams. And I'm pretty sure both of them, because I know that Arnie says it in his doco, Stallone not so much because they didn't really get into it, but both of them said, I didn't like where I came from.
Yeah.
So wherever I'm going, I will go through whatever the fuck I need to go through to get there.
So I never have to go back there.
Yeah. Because going back is just not an option for me now.
No.
Burn the boats.
Yeah. That's right. We sharks. You got to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Fucking apex predators. Both of those, man. Like
they legit conquered. They conquered the fucking 80s, man.
80s and most of the 90s.
Even though they're like the mid 90s was like their slow decline. What I loved was Stallone talking on that scene in Copland. He's like, Bobby's there, but he's not giving me enough Bobby. I find. So I push him a little bit in the scene. So like it gets into the point where it's like, did you hear me, you deaf fuck?
Fuck. What did he say? Because it's so good.
I can't do anything. You messed it up.
You get nothing.
Oh fuck.
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah. I would have loved to have like gotten a little interview from De Niro on how he felt on the receiving end. Pause. Because it activated something. He like historically he doesn't like ad lib.
No, it doesn't.
So like if you're going off book, yeah,
that's not on page. Fuck.
I would have loved to have heard from like some of the directors. Like James Mangold should have been there.
Yeah, Mangold should have been. I don't know what he's doing.
Should have been talking on that scene. When this happened, this was like a fucking godsend. As if you wouldn't be happy that the scene ends like that. Made me want to fucking go watch Copland. Just that scene.
Mate, Copland is amazing.
Still haven't watched it.
So good. Everyone's in there. Like, everyone's in there, man.
Yeah, that is a big group picture. That's like Robert Patrick, Keitel, De Niro, Liotta.
I think
Fucking-
Farina's in there as
Yeah.
well.
Stallone, obviously.
And it is. Like, when they talk about the more subdued Stallone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we get. And it's amazing.
But it's also funny how we go, why do our action heroes, why don't they have a bit more range? Why don't they do something else? Then they do something else. No one goes out to support it. Guess what? I'm going back to the fucking well because that's how I get paid.
Craziness.
Yeah. Yeah, man, go check that fucking documentary out. If you're a fan of Rocky, Rambo, all those films, like, go check it out. Just get the inner workings of this guy. It's not going to be an extensive look.
Mm.
And if you do want something like that, you're going to have to follow Sly on Instagram. He's always going into it. Check out all the making ofs and stuff from like previous DVD collections and documentaries and stuff.
Mm.
But this was a good, like, brief 96 minutes.
I wish Sly would just do a fucking podcast already, man.
Oh, mate. Him and Frank should do one.
Oh, man, just sit down and do a fucking podcast.
And
just
I didn't know
walk us
about
through.
That would be fucking amazing. If it was like a limited episode podcast, like, I don't know, 20 episodes, detail 50 years. You and Frank, personal experience, film business, all that shit.
Yeah, the music business. It'd be cool to see that the parallels between the music business and the film business, especially with those two.
Yeah, one of his singles made it into Staying Alive.
Andy sings First Blood.
And he sings First Blood, and that's him. Take it back. Do 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 do. That's them. That's him on the corner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's mad.
Fucking mad.